I do not like horror. Well, I've never liked horror games. It hurts my chest too much. But I've always been interested in actually playing one. My aversion to horror games started in school with Five Nights at Freddy's. I played one night, got jump scared once, and decided that was it for me. Well, until now. With this whole YouTube thing going on, I thought it'd make good content. So I figured why not, I might as well document my very unpleasant experience and give my thoughts on my very first horror game. I feel like I should preface that I know some people might claim zombie games like Dying Light as horror, but they're not really that scary to me, and I've been exposed to them my entire life, so I don't class it as a horror game. Not one that's designed specifically to scare you. So, let's get into it. So, as the thumbnail probably suggests, I decided to play Resident Evil 7. As someone who doesn't do horror games, I wasn't sure what to pick at first. But the one game I've heard the most about was Resident Evil. Most notably, Resident Evil 7, as it was the first time that the game ever went to first person, and it was a massive shift. And apparently, very scary, or spooky. The reviews were mostly positive, and it seemed like I didn't need to know too much about the story to understand everything that was happening. But I did some research after I played, so during the analysis and breakdown parts, I wasn't completely in the dark. Also, like usual, basic YouTuber thing, if you enjoy this video, why not like, subscribe, it helps me out a bunch, and I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, let's get into it. The game starts with a video message with some background information. We play as Ethan, and he must find his missing wife of 3 years. We go straight to the location she mentioned, and we instantly catch a glimpse of a strange man. Which I hate almost immediately. But we push on. In the house, we find an old VHS tape that shows we aren't the first ones to arrive here. And the others, well, it didn't end well for them.
You first. Need a nice hero shot of me coming down the ladder. So, you first.
I said it first. Oh, okay, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna have to do it. Oh, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ. I can't look. I swear to God if I get grabbed from behind. I'm mentally preparing for it.
What do you see? What is it?
Hey, bud. Oh! Well, that happened.
Jesus.
Yeah. He would not approve. We used the VHS tape to find a secret passage and use it to find Mia, Ethan's wife. At this point, I am already paranoid. Mia tells us we need to leave, and well, things escalate quickly. You good? Holy shit. Solid throw. Fuck me, that... What the... Oh, shit. Do I hold the button or press it? I don't know.
Mia, wait! Wait!
Oh, you're gonna lose a thumb or something, dude. I'll move my head out the way.
I can hear her. I can feel her clawing her way back inside of me. Get out! Leave me alone!
Yeah.
I've been bad. I deserve this.
Oh. Damn. After that horror scene, I instantly realized this isn't just going to be a horror game, it's going to be a puzzle game as well. I also realized the game wasn't going to hold my hand, so I wandered around for a bit until I solved the problem. And just as I'm leaving, this happened.
It's okay. It's okay.
Fuck
It's
me.
I know you didn't mean to hurt me.
Fuck.
But you shouldn't have done that!
It
fucking hurts!
Yeah, I bet. Dude, you know what else hurt? My goddamn chest. Yo, okay.
Now, let's see
That's-
how you feel.
Let me take this out, please. Come on. Oh! That was my hand.
Your jaw must contain outbreak. Gonna win, I promise. Must burn it all down.
My hand? I find a gun, which does give me some comfort, but it doesn't last long, as my lunatic wife attacks me with a chainsaw. I shoot her a couple of times, everything seems good, and then things go very bad. Ethan is abducted, and we get introduced to the family, who's only a little bit unhinged. They seem to try and force feed some insects into Ethan's mouth, but thankfully, they get distracted. We then must try and find a way out while they're distracted, which doesn't go very far. Luckily, the dad of the family, I refuse to call him, is just tormenting Ethan a bit, which allows him to escape. He is then lucky enough to meet a cop.
Look, officer.
Deputy.
Right. Deputy. Now, do you want to see my name in the obituaries? Or do you want to be a hero and save my life? A fucking pocket knife?
We then get to the garage, where instead of leaving straight away, we get to watch the cop lose his mind. Thereafter, we play some bumper cars. Which doesn't end well. However, after the first death, I decided to run straight for the car, which worked out well for me. Until it doesn't. Luckily though, we kill, then leave solving a puzzle and making it to the rest of the main house, where I talk to a mysterious woman on the phone who says she can help me escape. So we continue on to solve a bunch of mysteries. We first get traumatized by a Mia videotape where we have to hide from the mother, who is creepy, and we get some more basic lore about what happened to Mia. I then get a visitor. Please don't get attacked. Oh, what the
Heck of a thing, ain't it? Sure shit beats the hell out of dying.
What the hell, dude? After that encounter, I head to a secret room where I meet a new friend. We're good. We are good. Nothing. What the Not good. Not good. Stop! What the fuck are you? Die! Jesus. I couldn't get out through that door. That would be a sign of what was to come, as the basement would be full of these things, and I would die repeatedly due to my lack of brain cells. I also totally missed the puzzle room and spent a bunch of time trying to figure out how to get to the dissection room, but I eventually figured it out and ran into, you guessed it. We fight, I somehow survive the encounter, we get the part we need to place in the door. I also got a shotgun, and got another one as well. Once I figured out how the puzzles worked in this game, I got a lot better at them, We then got more information from Zoe, and she makes it clear that we could make a cure, but we need to find the stuff we need. She has one of the ingredients, but the mother has the other one, which she isn't very keen on sharing. I instantly realized that if I wasn't Australian and wasn't used to bugs, I'd hate this. However, the bugs didn't bother me at all, it just annoyed me. They were also really easy to deal with once I made the flamethrower. Then I get thrown down a hole. Nice. And then I died, so I had to come back with some better weapons. After this little encounter, I would get into a fight with the mother who just crawls around the entire place. After defeating her, I get this thing, and then I have to stick my hand inside the cop's neck to get a key.
Sorry, buddy.
Well, that's disgusting. We find a VHS tape, I struggle my way through this puzzle section, and I instantly realize that there is definitely something sketchy going on. These tapes, although seem like bonus content at the time, actually come into play later. During collecting all the ingredients, of course Mia and Zoe then get abducted by the brother, which then leads to Ethan having to go through our haunted house setup, with trip mines and a bunch of demonic creatures, and even more traps. He eventually would end up in the room that he saw on the VHS tapes. However, luckily, they showed him the passwords and the answers to get through, so he was able to avoid the trap killing him.
Motherfucker! You're supposed to die!
Ethan would then chase after the brother, but he would get away. But luckily, he'd be able to find all the ingredients he would need to make the cure. He'd work his way across the docks to save both Mia and Zoe, and they would all live happily ever after.
Right here. There should be enough, right?
If we make him fast enough, my father and Lucas aren't far away.
He's coming. Daddy's coming.
Good. There's enough for two.
So after we make the serum, what's next?
There's a boat outside. We'll take it through the swamp. But neither of us will get very far without the serum. Hey, one of those is mine.
Well, this guy just never seems to die. This fight, honestly, is a bit challenging, and having to use one of the cures to kill the... Making us choose between Mia or Zoe instead of being able to save both allows you to feel like you have some stake in the matter. It would be good if it wasn't too easy to choose. If you were like me, you were just gonna save Mia, and I mean, you spend the entire time listening to Ethan talk about his wife and how much he misses her. Who are you going to save? The random woman you've only spoken to a couple of times, or your literal wife? After leaving, Mia and Ethan get attacked, and we then get to play as Mia, as we find out more about how everything happens. We realize that she isn't really that great of a person, but at least she plans to save Ethan. This section is also the moment I was probably the most terrified.
I hope I make it in time.
Ethan, my poor boy.
Okay.
What have they
Got him
done
all.
to you? Oh, fuck! Oh,
Stop it, Evelyn!
fuck me! Holy shit! You fucking creepy ass child, holy shit.
Fucking hallucinations.
Not much really happens. We just learn more about the little girl's past, and I'll break that down in the analysis section. Mia's section is actually not that interesting. Definitely a little bit more terrifying in the fact that I can't defend myself, but once we free Ethan again, we play through the final section as him, fully equipped with everything he has. So the fear kind of disappears there. We would fight our way through these waves of abominations until we inevitably run into the little girl, who is secretly the old woman. This is probably the best performance of an old person pretending to be younger than they actually are I have ever seen. Of course, we then have the final battle, but at this point, I was desensitized to the horror aspect, and it's not really meant to be that scary, I don't think. Ethan gets lucky with being able to get his hands on an OP weapon thanks to a helicopter, and then he just ends this freak of nature's existence. He then meets up with Mia, and they fly away into the sunset to never have anything bad ever happen to him again.
So,
Mia, get down! Mia!
Yeah, I started the next game not to make a video on it, but for my own personal enjoyment. And, well, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, so here are my horror observations. The things that really stood out to me in my first proper horror game. The first noticeable thing is that my anxiety and stress was dependent on whether or not I was armed. This meant I was at my most stressed in the beginning of the game and when we moved on to the boat section with Mia. My anxiety would disappear the more equipped I was. Even with just a pistol, my anxiety would drop like a brick. Which is funny, because logically, a pistol doesn't magically stop you from being chainsawed in half. I'll chainsaw. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Holy shit. Honey? Yeah, you do. But it's that illusion of control that makes your brain go, it's fine, you've got this, you're a professional now. Which, fun fact, I did not. The moments where my chest hurt the most had to be the jump scares. It was the part I was least looking forward to. I will give the game credit though. They did not overuse jump scares. There was definitely a few, but you could tell the game didn't rely solely on them. And when they did happen, they were, well, effective. If we were to rate my top 3 oh shit moments, I think it's best if I just show you. But I'm glad I did that anyways, because they... Oh!
Come on now with me! We're gonna settle this!
Fuck you, babe.
Oh. It's okay. It's okay.
Fuck
It's
me.
No, you didn't.
Oh, fuck!
Stop it, Evelyn!
Fuck me! Holy shit! You fucking creepy ass child, holy shit.
Fucking hallucinations.
The inclusion of environmental storytelling was also really cool. You can kind of figure things out if you pay close attention to what is going on around you. For example, I noticed that the old woman was constantly moving around, but only when you weren't looking at her. She goes to locations you have already once been at, and it explains why things change, such as the cop's body moving location constantly, and so on. Speaking about the location, the environment and its use of Southern Gothic setting is really good at making you feel alone and isolated. You really do feel trapped, and you get given hope, but when the cop loses his head, you instantly feel more trapped than ever before. And then there's the VHS tapes. Not only are they creepy little side stories, but they can also give you an edge. My favorite example of this is the Happy Birthday tape. If you watch and complete it, you get the solution to the padlock puzzle, which means you can skip the whole fiery human barbecue sequence later. The found footage vibe is also just very creepy in general, and it does a great job of filling out the story a bit more, making it feel more realistic. Yes, we have the basics of horror such as the gore and jump scares, but it's time for my favorite type of horror, existential or more complex horror. The thing that comes to mind first is when Ethan is consumed into that mass and he gets to meet the real version of Jack Baker, also known as... Jack apologizes and seems honestly heartbroken about what has happened to him and his family. It is also really sad to know that his mind/body isn't really his anymore, and he's committing horrendous acts without any means to stop it. There is a constant theme throughout the game, and that being family. Each character represents a twisted version of, I guess, the ideal nuclear family and their roles. We have Jack. He embodies the role of a father, however a corrupted one. His role is to provide for the family, which has been twisted into this corrupt version where his role is to hunt for victims and to make sure the family is safe. His most defining trait is being unstoppable and a massive pain in the ass. It's an exaggeration of a father's authority and power within the household. Margaret, also known as what I've been calling the mother, embodies the insane version of a caregiver and protector. She cares for the bugs she creates, but on top of that, she tries to keep the girls from escaping. In her twisted mind, she's trying to protect the family. You can see it with how she locks away basically the cure. She's a corrupted version of a caring mother. There is also Lucas and Zoe, both the son and daughter of the family. Lucas embodies a young rebellious child who doesn't fit in with the normal crowd, which we can see with all his engineering trophies. He represents wasted potential. Instead of creating devices to help people, he creates ones to torture them instead. Zoe is the black sheep of the family. She is actively resisting what the rest of the family desires. She is almost like that one sane sibling that's stuck in a toxic household. And actually, what I think about, they're both kind of black sheeps in their own way. After what happens to the family, Lucas enjoys this world they are in, and he doesn't want things to go back to how they were. Basically what the infected versions of the family want. But if the family were actually themselves, they would want things to go back to being normal. It's kind of like a vice versa sort of situation, if you get what I mean. I probably explained that really poorly. I struggled to write that part of the script, not gonna lie. Finally, we have the most complex and dangerous family member. Evelyn is portrayed as the youngest member of the family, even if she is the oldest. She is immature and has an idealized version of family. Her immaturity and ideas of family, with the combination of her immense power, led to all of this. It shows that a child can be cute when they are young and immature, when they are small. But if you give a kid a hypothetical gun, they turn into an actual nightmare. There is also just a lot of body horror in this game, although I didn't really comprehend it when I first played through it. I mean, I noticed it, but I didn't think I realized how big of a part it takes place within the game. I only really noticed it with the mother with her bugs that she produced. Even then, it didn't really disturb me though. It could be because I'm Australian and bugs don't bother me, but I think the real body horror comes from he just keeps receiving a beating and keeps coming back more and more disfigured. My chair just creaked while I was talking about the horror aspects of this game, and not gonna lie, I might have panicked a little bit. The Resident Evil DLCs are really good. Let's talk about the main two first. The first one takes place right after Ethan leaves, where Chris Redfield, a main character from previous games, has to go in and clean up some of the mess left from the farm, as well as capture Lucas. This DLC is just a small continuation of the main story, with new infected, more messed up deaths, and annoying traps. We get a lot more of Lucas, which is cool, and it's a lot less horror and more action hero, which isn't bad and is a nice change of pace. This DLC is mostly used to wrap up the story's loose ends, and also gives some fan service to fans of previous games. The second DLC that covers the main story is about Zoe, making the fact that Ethan did choose his wife canon. The story follows Joe Baker, Jack's brother, aka Zoe's uncle. And he is nearly as unhinged as Jack. He instantly assumes that Umbrella was responsible for what happened to Zoe. He's basically on a mission to save Zoe's life, and he's kind of responsible for the death of the soldier he abducted. This DLC focuses more on the hand-to-hand fighting of the game, and you can only use your hand or spears. The infected are scary, sure, but honestly, the thing that gives me the most anxiety has to be the alligators. I have a thing about water that I can't see the bottom of, and this definitely plays into that fear. Story-wise, I like that Zoe gets a cure and survived, and it's believable to an extent. The bit that is a little hard to believe is that there's just one guy who is absolutely insane and an absolute unit, just going around punching all his problems away. He is also just kind of an ass, however, very loyal to his family. The reveal that the bioweapon that chases you around and abducted Zoe is actually still Jack, aka even after Ethan supposedly killed him, is insane. This dude is basically indestructible. Well, that is until Joe finally finishes him off. It's also a little bit fitting that the only person who could take him out was family. We also have some of the smaller DLCs that helps us break down the characters a bit more. We get to see the night that everything went wrong through Zoe's eyes. I think the most interesting thing was the fact I was scared of the mother more than anyone else. I think this is due to the fact that this is the only time we see her as her true self. She is caring and a little bit of a stereotypical southern mother, and when this is suddenly changed, it's really jarring. It is really interesting getting to see the family be so normal. If anything, they're more inviting than any normal family would be. It shows great character that they were so kind towards people who were stuck in a storm, and it's extremely interesting to see. Even when Zoe's trying to escape, we get to see their humanity trying to break through, with glimpses of them fighting the control that they're under. This does add a bunch to the horror aspects of slowly losing control of your own body and mind. It makes you a lot more sympathetic to these people. Even Lucas, even if he was kind of a bad person before everything, I felt bad listening to him scream for help. Speaking of Lucas, we also get to see how unhinged he was with his victims in more detail. Most notably his version of 21, also known as Blackjack. He gets two people to compete, with the losers receiving a severe punishment till one inevitably dies. However, he does normally cheat so that most of the time people can't make it out. There's also another DLC that honestly was kind of my favorite game modes. It's basically just a round-based survival game. This was probably the extra game mode I played the most, right next to Blackjack. Not much story-wise, but really enjoyable. Other DLCs include Ethan Must Die and Jack's Birthday. Both game modes are just fun extra bonus content that don't really add much to the story, but if you're a true fan and you want more bonus content, it's here if you want it. Jack's Birthday is just a weird minigame of feeding Jack with a more comical atmosphere. There's also the option to play Ethan Must Die, which is self-explanatory, and I am not that good at it, so I played very little. It's for the masochists of you who are out there. Okay, let's talk about what I enjoyed about the game. The first thing is that the story is really interesting and engaging. There was stuff I learned about the story after doing research for this video, just to understand the deeper lore. You can definitely just jump into this game though without knowing anything else about the series, and you can follow the story pretty well. The characters are engaging and memorable, maybe not as iconic as someone else in the series, which is funny because I never played the Resident Evil games before this, and I can confirm I know who this man is. It's Backflip Boy. Ethan is an interesting protagonist, however he isn't super fleshed out as he is mostly focused on just finding Mia, but he does have a witty personality and honestly is a badass for tanking some of the hits he takes. He is also just a loyal man, you gotta respect that. Though I do know his story continues in other games, so he might get more characterization there. I've actually started playing Resident Evil Village, not planning on making a video on it, I just thought I'd play it as an extra bit just to see if I like this franchise and want to go more into it. There is a solid mixture of all forms of horror. The game doesn't just rely on one form, which I was very happy to see. I like the fact that it doesn't just rely on jump scares, and it had included a bunch of body horror and existential horror for me to dive into. It is also really interesting that you can have some sympathy for the Baker family. My limited horror experience normally shows me that the villains or the monsters in the story usually aren't sympathetic. But this also could just be my said limited experience coming through. The weapons within Resident Evil 7 are actually really enjoyable to use and fair. Just because you have a gun doesn't mean you're safe, as some enemies will take multiple hits. Or even if you are well armed, it doesn't mean that you'll have enough ammo to fight everything off. It's also smarter sometimes just to run than to fight. I noticed this variety made me analyze every situation I was put into, unlike other games where my reactions are normally instant. The layout of the map is also great and engaging. My favorite section of the map must be the main house, as its tight quarters and the hidden passages make the threats feel more real. It also just has a lot of story information in that location, as of course it would. It's where the family would spend most of their time. My least favorite section was definitely the mother's location, as I'm not a fan of the swampland and I found it very uninteresting. But overall, the map was an enjoyable thing to experience. Something else I kind of forgot to mention and go into a little bit more was the game doesn't hold your hand. You have to remember everything yourself and use your brain to figure out what you have to do. But there's context clues that will help you along the way if you're paying attention. It doesn't hold your hand, but it does guide you in the right direction without you having to focus too much. I think I only got lost like twice, so not bad. It's good game design. Before we get into the weaknesses, I want to talk about the boss fights. There isn't anything super special that announces this, but they basically are boss fights. The most of these are with who we fight 3 times, not including the DLC. He's basically the main villain and the toughest out of them all, and each time it was different enough that it felt unique. Something I noticed is that each member relies on their most noticeable trait to attack you. The father of the family is the headstrong and constant presence. He's a hands-on sort of man. The mother is organized and relies on her children, I guess you could say. She'll do things herself, but if her hands are full, she will organize the people around her to get the job done. Then we have the son who's just extremely smart and relies on his wits. He doesn't want a head-on fight, he wants to have fun, and Ethan never gets into a head-on fight with him, as he's smart enough to not allow himself to get put into that situation. Well, until Chris showed up. Now we're on to the game's weaknesses, and things that I think could have been better. This section will be quick though, as I don't think my opinion on horror games will be taken too seriously, seeing this is my first. And there wasn't actually that many weaknesses that I noticed. Some of the puzzles are pretty easy, some are tricky, but most are easy to solve. I feel like the puzzles could have been done just a little better. I think my biggest issue was the controls and not being able to figure out how to move objects the correct orientation. I also think a natural thing that occurs when you start playing horror games is that you start to notice patterns and start to learn when something is likely to happen. You start to develop a sixth sense on when things are going to happen, and this can only be circumvented with something coming out of the usual orientation. The best example of this was when I got jump scared playing as Mia. I'd been programmed not to expect something like that to happen after every cutscene, so I wasn't prepared. So this isn't necessarily a weakness, it's just I feel like this could have been juggled a bit better. For complaints though, this is really all I got. Like I said, my exposure has been very limited, and this definitely affects how I viewed this game. It's hard to develop a solid opinion on things when you have such a limited experience with something. So maybe that means I should add more horror games to my list of things to play. So, let me know what you think I should play next. Conclusion time. And there's no script for this, I'm just going off the top of my head. Although I'm not a big fan of horror, I really enjoyed my experience with Resident Evil. So much so that I've actually started to play the other games in the series. I don't think I'll make videos about every single one, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what the other games are like, especially because I've heard such great things about it. Overall, Resident Evil 7's definitely a game I'd recommend to play if you've never played it. However, if you're watching this, you've probably already played it, or you don't plan on playing it, but I highly recommend it. Even if you're not a fan of horror, give it a shot. Yes, you'll probably shit yourself like I did a few times, but I reckon you'll think it's worth it in the end. And it's always good to come out of your comfort zone once in a while. And that is me done. I apologize, this video has taken me much longer to get done than I thought it would. I've been working on this one for 2 months. I've had a few things go wrong. You know, the basic problems I have sometimes. So, yes, this one's done, finally. I've been teasing it for like 2 months, I think. Next video will be Dying Light the Beast. I plan to speed run that because my Dying Light videos always do well. Go check them out if you haven't. If this is your first video of mine, go check them out. They're pretty good. Yeah, so Dying Light the Beast will be next. I'm working on the script. I've finished the game for that, so go check that out. And, anyways, as usual, if I don't see you again, stay safe, live life to the fullest, and peace. Maybe I should change that, because it sounds like I'm only wishing peace upon the people who don't stick around.